Man, I don't know if I'll just become delusional now or I just don't mind hearing myself talk, but whatever. Anyway, today I'd like to talk about the claim of inciting a riot or the claim of inciting bullying towards another person on this platform. Both of these laws are absolutely flawed and make no sense whatsoever. And I'm going to talk about this. So one example of this is the latest thing I can think of that comes into my mind is Kai. What happened with Kai, like I think it was like 3 years ago now. I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. But basically, he got put in jail because of a link up he did. It was poorly planned, but like a lot of people were acting up during that link up in New York. Like he pretty much said, meet me at this spot, and all his fans met him at this spot. So it was a bunch of people running over to him, and like I think he had like a giveaway or something. So everyone was acting out basically, and because of Kyle having that set up, him being the one who had that link up planned or whatsoever, he was put in jail over that. Was it a good idea to do that? No. But was it also his fault that someone decides to throw stuff and throw cans at police? No, that's not him. And people might be saying, oh no, you don't understand. When you have a big following, that you have a big impact on people. Well, even if that is the case, this situation has nothing to do with that. Like literally, him doing that link up, it had nothing to do with his behavior wise. I mean, you could say that, like I said, it was poorly planned or whatever, but he wasn't like exhibiting any behavior that like incites somebody to like act like that anyway. So even in the context of that law that I'm saying is pretty bad, he didn't do any of that. So anyways, moving on to my point is that like even if someone has a big influence, right, like let's say someone's acting like a degenerate, right, they have a big following, you're not going to charge them for every act of degeneracy made by one of their fans. And following the logic of inciting things, that is pretty much what you're saying should be applied. Like anybody who's under the influence of, oh, I did this because I'm a fan of this guy, oh, we should probably arrest this guy too then. Like it makes no sense. Even if they're on the same level of degeneracy, it just doesn't make sense to charge someone for everything that someone else is doing. Yes, they are a bad person if they're a degenerate and harming other people, but even in that context, you wouldn't put every single charge that someone who's following their example is doing onto them. It just doesn't make sense, and that's what the law is typically or essentially saying that should be applied. Further on though, everyone is their own person to begin with. Like in that situation, like I said with Kai, like even in that situation, that none of that was happening. I was giving this whatever you call it, this bill, law, whatever you want to call it, a steel man in the case of like when someone is acting in such a way that affects other people or it inspires other people, I should say. If you choose what you want to be inspired by, like even if you are young and impressionable, you are choosing what you want to be inspired by. So to say that this is your fault because of how you make your content, someone going to the extreme levels, someone being inspired enough to do this, being inspired enough to do that, is all because of you, it just doesn't make sense. Everyone has their own free will to do what they want at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you watch. Someone for the sake of saying it could be like, oh, I'm gonna commit this crime just because and they insert a wholesome person. I guess that now means that wholesome person is at fault for his crime. Under the context of that law, that's pretty much what it's saying. Moving on to the online aspect of this, the first person I can think of is Charlie or Penguin Zero or Moist Critical, whichever one you know him as. You can see this in a lot of other YouTubers too, but like you can notice that whenever they talk about someone, they usually have to say, oh, don't harass this person, please don't go to their page and do this and that and that. That should not be a thing. I mean, one, obviously harassing people goes without saying, to not do it. I worded that crazily, but yeah, it goes without saying to not be doing that. But two, like if he's not saying anything negative about the person that isn't true, then there should be no reason to have to say that, and then or else YouTube would say they're inciting bullying. Well, yeah, he's calling him out for doing something wrong. That should be the standard. That should be what you should do. So again, all of these inciting rules things don't make any sense unless someone's specifically saying, hey, go bully this person, or hey, let's start a fire here. So like, yeah, if it's not that, anything below that, then this whole law is stupid. Fix your laws.